The Epstein files. Pam Bondi, the Secretary of the Department of Justice, told us that she had the client list on her desk. She said she had the file. She had the client list on her desk. We heard stories about videos and all kinds of details that they were having to go through, thousands and thousands of pages of material that they had to scan through and clean because of sensitivity to the victims. And then they just come out suddenly and say, wow, there's no client list. That Epstein was not blackmailing people, and that he's self-terminated. Guys, are you buying this? Are you buying this? How do you change stories so vastly? Is this a cover-up? And what are the potentials of it? Well, I got a bombshell on that. Also, the America Party. Elon Musk has started the America Party, thinking he's going to create a more physical government with his America Party. Do you buy this? I suggest this is it's strange that we get a South African starting the American Party. A billion thinking he's going to get the common man and woman in this country to identify with him and his party. What do you think? What do you think? Pardon me. I think this is very problematic. And I'm having a hard time picking up what they're putting down. My friends, let's go. We're going to cover the American Party, but first let's get to this Epstein list because I think this is heinous. I think there is rats in the wood pile. Smells like rotten fish to me, very rotten fish. And hello, Nanny. So I'm going to do the chat room after I go through the news so that the people who watch this with their breakfast in the morning, can get the news first. Okay, my friends. So this thing with has a certain odor to it, in that it turns out that there are people from the Mossad who are saying that Epstein was a Mossad asset, but it appears that he was connected to the CIA and MI6. That actually Epstein was an intelligence asset. What would our government do for intelligence? What was Epstein? A convicted PDO? What do we call the plane? He flew all his rich clients to Epstein Island, the Lolita Express. And how many times did Bill Clinton fly on that plane? 26 times. So there are just so many crazy things associated with it. So is the government willing to sweep all this under the rug in the name of intelligence? What does this Mossad connection evoke? Now, on the more positive end, Alex Jones is trying to reach for hope. He said maybe that they're not revealing this because maybe now the Trump administration has got blackmail on the deep state. That we could hope for, but you got to wonder who's really control here. If it's the Mossad, does this suggest perhaps why the United States bombed Iran? Why we got involved in it? Does the Mossad hold the cojones of the United States? What are the potentials of this? What does it mean? Who is running this country? And who is the deep state? And how is that all connected? Is that the intelligence agencies? Do they have some collective between them? What does that mean for us? What does it mean for the future? And take Pam Bondi, take Kash Patel, take Dan Bongino. Are you ever going to trust these individuals again? We all used to like to listen to Dan Bongino and his radio podcast, his Rumble show. He seemed to make a lot of sense. He had a lot of people following him. Dan Bongino, you're done. You're history. You're toast. Who is going to ever listen to you again? Guys, if you're inclined to believe these individuals, if you want to continue to listen to them in the future, put a 1 in the chat room. If not, put a 2. I like to know what you think about that. And also, I like to know what you think about this Mossad connection. Mossad, I'm going to show you this stuff, guys. This is just incredible. That's the bombshell. The Mossad connection is the bombshell. This is where answers are coming in. If you believe that this may have had something to do with the United States bombing Iran, put a 4 in the chat room. If you think there's no connection, put a 3 in the chat room or in the messages later. I'd like to see what you guys think about this stuff. But we're going to go. We may not go too long in here. But guys, this is off the charts. Off the charts. We're being played hard. And what really gets me about this is it's like amateur hour at the DOJ. The cover-up here is so amateurish, it's not funny. Yet they're expecting us to believe this, or they can sweep it under the rug and we'll forget about it. No. People are not going to forget about this. They can't just sweep this under the rug. And like they did this video, we were told there was no video. No video looking at, the door that led to, the hallway, the door that led to Epstein's room. And yet suddenly there comes out a video. Wow. But the video, the video they said was continuous, no edits. It's missing a minute. The entire last minute of the day that he self-terminated. The last minute of that day from 11:58:59 till midnight is poof, gone. Not only that, but the view of the camera changes the perspective just a little bit, and there's some little edit feature left in there. This is amateur hour coming out of a big department like DOJ. I almost wonder if it makes you wonder if it's a breadcrumb. Did they plant this on purpose? I mean, how could you be so amateur with a claim so big when you're trying to sweep something under the rug so hard? How could you be so amateur in that? Are they leaving breadcrumbs? Is there some bigger game at play here? This whole thing stinks to high heaven. And I don't care who's behind it, who is involved in it. They all should be prosecuted. It's heinous. I don't give a darn who they are. You commit a crime, do the time. I don't care who you are. I don't care. So we got the world's most elite, most powerful people on both sides of the political spectrum, both parties, and the intelligence agencies of the 3 of the most powerful intelligence agencies on earth. Wow. Wow. The one that they have is, do they take people like Pam Bondi and Dan Bongino and Cash Patel in some little skiff room and say, oh, yeah, look at these files. You remember JFK? You remember this? What could your future be? I don't know. Did they get to these people? Did they co-opt them? Did they scare them? Deep state is powerful. I don't know, my friends, but this whole thing just reeks. Maybe that's why there's breadcrumbs. Or maybe they were just that inept. Government can be pretty darn inept, pretty darn incompetent, pretty darn, it's amazing sometimes how incompetent the government can be, how sloppy, how much it don't work or doesn't work well. That's why I'm not a big fan of government. That's why I'm no fan of big government, my friends. I'm not. So it just, this whole thing reeks. This whole thing reeks to high heaven. Anyway, so let's get into some files here. I'm going to show you some stuff. This stuff is just, let me put it here where I want it to get started. Give me a second, and I'm going to do a share screen to show you some things that are rather shocking. Put me in the right spot here. Right about, where are we at here? Are we showing what I want to show? I don't know. It don't look, something don't look right. for the share screen here. I'm not seeing what I normally see. Let me stop this and start over. I don't think I'm sharing the screen on share for some reason. Try it again. Yeah, that was it. Dadgummit. Why didn't it give me the normal, what I normally see? Okay. I don't know. This is all acting different for me today. All right, we're back at it. We're back on it, guys. Sorry for that. It's just I didn't get the normal little window I get around my shared screen here. That's odd. Anyway, all this stuff changes. So let's get into here. Here we are on X. This guy named Truth and Justice. Confirmation. Epstein worked for the Mossad. Ari Ben Menashe, however you say his name, a former Israeli spy, confirmed on the record unequivocally that Jeffrey Epstein was working for Israeli intelligence operations, the Mossad, and running a blackmail operation for Israel. Whoo, my friends. I kid you not. Here it is. There it is. I don't know if we can see this video or not.
Of the Jeffrey Epstein scandal. Now, as part of our investigation, we spoke to Ari Ben Mashani, who is a former Israeli spy. He said on the record unequivocally that Jeffrey Epstein was working for Israeli intelligence operations, the Mossad, and running a classic honey trap operation. That is, lure people inside, record their activities, and learn about their peccadillos and use it to blackmail them. This is...
Wow. Wow. And it's not just that. There's other evidence of this. There's other evidence of this. Who all was involved in this, guys? Look here. Anthony Blinken was the stepson of Samuel Pissar, who is a lawyer and confidant of Robert Maxwell. Robert Maxwell was a Mossad agent and the father of Ghislaine Maxwell, the girlfriend of Jeffrey Epstein, girlfriend and accomplice who is said to have been the one who recruited all those young girls. And she's in prison. Well, if the latest pronouncement by the DOJ is true, then why is she in prison and why was Jeffrey Epstein in prison? Makes you really wonder. Makes you wonder. There he is. There is some of your Mossad connections right there. Mossad agent Robert Maxwell, the father of Ghislaine Maxwell, girlfriend, accomplice, confidant of, an operator for Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, now we've got it from a Mossad agent directly in the video I just shown you, and here it is there. Does that start to explain everything? Same clowns, different circus. Yeah, it smells like it. Yeah, it just disappeared. Yeah, kind of like the Biden laptop. Interesting. 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 You know, I couldn't even talk about that laptop on YT. Boy, I got nearly shut down for mentioning it way back. Oh, false information, misinformation. Turned out to be not at all that. Wow. Guys, and Anthony Blinken, you know, U.S. Secretary of State under who? Biden. See, this thing is covers such a wide spectrum here. Jeez. Is that heinous or what? But now, just to update you guys, they think we're going to forget this stuff. They think that we won't remember these things. Listen to this.
DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients.
See, look here, Pam Bondi nodding yes.
Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review.
Sitting on my desk right now, but it never existed. How, if it never existed, could it have been sitting on her desk? So was she lying then, or is she lying now? My take now. What do you think? If you think she was lying then, put a 5 in the chat room. If you think she's lying now, put a 6.
That's been a directive by President Trump. I'm reviewing that. I'm reviewing JFK files, MLK files. That's all in the process of being reviewed because that was done at the directive of the president from all of these agencies.
So the president directed it to be reviewed. So maybe Trump isn't behind it. Maybe he isn't one of those who is subject to the blackmail. I don't know. But somebody got to Pam Bondi, Cash Patel, and Dan Bongino, and maybe Trump. I don't know. Or maybe we can hope that Alex Jones is right. But he was just guessing. He wasn't saying it was that way. He was reaching for straws of hope. He was grabbing for the last straws. I don't know.
So have you seen anything there? You said, oh my gosh.
Not yet.
DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review. That's been
sitting on her desk. Sitting on her desk. Woo! Well, guys, what do y'all think? And here's the, I don't know if you can see it. Usually when I click on these, sometimes you can't see them. I don't know. Sometimes I click on this stuff, it don't show up inside of X. I'm going to do my thing. I hope it does. Anyway, Department of Justice and the Federal Bureau of Investigation put this out. And it said that the systematic review reveals no incriminating client list. There was no credible evidence found that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals as part of his actions. We did not uncover evidence that could predicate, an investigation against uncharged third parties. And why was he in prison? And over here in the other red box, says, after thorough investigation, FBI investigators concluded that Jeffrey Epstein, I'm going to not use the term they use there because it's not favored on this platform. We'll say self-terminated in his cell at the Metropolitan Correctional Facility, New York City, on August the 10th, 2019. This conclusion is consistent with previous findings, including an August 19, 2019 autopsy findings by the New York City Office of the Chief Medical Examiner, the November 2019 position of the U.S. Attorney's Office of the Southern District of New York, in conjunction with the investigations of the federal correctional officers responsible for guarding Epstein, and the June 2023 conclusion of the DOG's Office of the Inspector General. Now, but hey, they said they had no video, and yet they had a video. They said there's going to release a video that was continuous, but it was discontinuous. I mean, guys, like I said, it's like amateur hour at the Department of Justice and the FBI both. Amateur hour. And let's see what we can find from our buddy Dan Bongino here. Here he is, 2023 and 2024. Let's see if we can get a take on this. Dan Bongino.
Listen, that Jeffrey Epstein story is a big deal.
Yeah.
Please do not let that story go. Keep your eye on this. Catherine Rumler, we need to keep the heat on this case, folks. There are a lot of people who are knee-deep in the Washington swamp who are not telling you the truth about serious allegations out there that Epstein may have had.
Well, hey, just look at his body language there. Just look at his face. I don't know why I just killed the sound. Look at it. Look at his face. He looks genuine there. Look over on the right. He looks like genuine. Let's see if we get sound back.
There are a lot of people who are knee-deep in the Washington swamp who are not telling you the truth about serious allegations out there that Epstein may have had video and audio of people out there doing things they shouldn't have been doing. And you should be asking yourself the question, how is it that all these people, the CIA director, the Obama fixer, Bill Clinton, all intersected paths with Jeffrey Epstein? Jeffrey Epstein isn't with us anymore, and nobody seems to want to talk about it outside of a few entrepreneurial media outlets saying, hey, This is a big deal.
He killed himself. Again, you want me to get? I've seen the whole file.
Look at his face here. Look how different it is. You tell me. The body language here on the right looks far different. He looks so genuine on the left here. He looks like he's hiding something to me. You look at him. Look at his face.
He killed himself.
Listen, that's
wow. This is fishy. This is just so fishy. So, Dan Bongino, you're done. You're history. You made more money on your platforms than you made working for the government. Well, guess what? You're done. You're toast. Nobody's going to watch you anymore. Holy guac and smoke-a-moly. Jeez. And here's the famous video that I mentioned. And it skips. Let's see if I can enlarge this. Often when I enlarge something, it don't play right. I don't know if y'all want to see it all. You see it's 58 and then jump. It jumped. You see that jump? But not only does it jump, the camera view changed. Watch. Boom. See how the camera view changed? That's right. Now look at that. Look at that right there. That's an edit mark. An edit mark. Let's see if I can stop it. I don't know if y'all can see this. Sometimes when I enlarge these things, they don't play. Oh, it was playing. Okay, good. Let's do it again. Since it did play, since y'all can see it, I'm going to stop it when it gets to the edit mark. There we are. This is a little menu up here. It only shows up for a little bit. It's where they're about to edit this video, apparently. It's what it looks like. You tell me. And it disappears. Is this fishy? But just look how the change, the perspective on the room changes, and there's something motion in the background it too. There. It changes. A whole minute missing. Yet we were told this would be continuous video. Continuous video of a video that didn't exist before. This video doesn't exist. Oh, here it is. Wow. I mean, this is fishy on top of fishy. And look at that right there. That's amateur hour. Amateur hour at the DOJ and the FBI. How can they be so amateur? Was it on purpose? Was this some kind of breadcrumb? Maybe they have to say something, but they're really saying something else. They're wanting us to really understand that their hands are forced. Maybe. I don't know. This is just too fishy. I don't know, my friends. This is beyond fishy. This is nuts. I tell you, our whole government is going down the drain. Our dollar is going down the drain. Everything. That may be a good reason you might want to go to defy the grid and invest in something that holds value. Look here. This has been holding pretty steady. Gold, 3,334.38. If the dollar crashes, that'll go up. When I started talking about this, I believe it was $1,700 to $1,800. So you can buy gold bullion. Look at it. If you find a better price somewhere else, I'll meet it or beat it. You don't find that anywhere else. Use the code GreenGregs to get 1% off. You can buy silver, gold, platinum, and you can get it in these gold backs too. The nice little foldy bills you can put in your wallet, and they're denominated in thousandths of a troy ounce. So you can actually buy small things that's fungible. You can buy bread and eggs and stuff, or barter for them. Anyway, my friends. Anyway. So now we'll get on to, I don't know, this whole thing with Pam Bondi, Dan Bongino, and Kash Patel, unbelievable. Unbelievable. They would switch stories so much. How can you come out in the mass media, Fox News, and say, the files are on my desk, and now you say, well, they never existed. And we're supposed to believe that. We're supposed to forget all this other stuff they told us for 6 months. Yeah, we're working on it. It's coming out. It's coming out. Now, oh, well, it never existed. Wow. There is something deep here. Again, I ask you, so what we established was that Epstein was working for the Mossad. Oh yeah, there's also evidence of him meeting with CIA I didn't include one of those articles. He was meeting with CIA quite a bit. So CIA, MI6, Mossad, he was an intelligence asset. This whole thing is an intelligence operation with children in the play. How nasty can you get? And this has been swept under the rug. I don't know, guys. This is heinous. It's heinous. Anyway, so Elon Musk has decided he's going to start a third party because everything he wanted was not included. Hey, look, he did work for DOGE. He came up with some cuts, and they weren't included in the bill. He lost a lot of money with Tesla by promoting DOGE. His company was attacked. His studios, I mean, his dealerships were firebombed. Vehicles were attacked, and he's hated by the left now. So how's he expecting to draw people from the left side of the spectrum? Here's the problem, this third party. How's he going to draw people he says he's going to draw people out of the middle. No, there is no middle in the left anymore. They are hard over. There's no middle there. They are not moderate anymore. They are hard over to the left. He's only going to draw away from the MAGA movement. And you don't have to draw much to crash it because the MAGA movement's winning broadly, but only by thin margins. So what he might do is flip the House in the midterms to the Democrats. And then you won't get your budget cuts. You're going to get new green deals and all kind of stuff coming through, and Trump impeachments, and all the immigration stuff that's in this bill will be swept out. We could lose the House, we could lose the Senate, and it could be a serious impeachment. I think they would really be going after Trump like we've never seen before. All because a billionaire has a hissy fit. See, the thing is, Elon Musk has shown that he doesn't understand politics, yet he wants to start an American party, a political party. What he didn't understand was that big omnibus bill required 60% vote to get through. There was no way his little cuts were going to make it in that bill, although it was suggested that there would be subsequent bills following up where they can make these cuts. It might be harder to do now. So that would be the strategy. What the big bill did, the big beautiful bill, is it cut out immigration. It went from the ICE and Border Patrol went from $2 billion a year funding to $45 billion. They're really going to try to get people out of this country. That would reduce, this is what the Congressional Budget Office didn't account for, that would greatly reduce all the public money that is being put in the pockets of these illegal immigrants, be it Medicare or Medicaid, be it whatever benefits they're drawing. So it would help those systems because suddenly they wouldn't be paying out to all these illegals like they have been. It would make those systems more resilient. Food stamp, SNAP, whatever you want to call it. They were getting tons of money coming in here, all kind of incentives to come here, housing support. Our veterans were homeless in the street, yet we were giving tons of money to the undocumented, let's say, immigrants. They came in illegally. They broke the law to come in, and they got favored. So, Trump tried to cut them, and the courts ruled against it somehow, some of them district courts. Maybe that'll get swept aside. But, guys, this is the insanity of it all. So the Congressional Budget Office wasn't accounting for the savings that would come through things like that, savings that would come through the tax cuts staying in place, because what happens is you get less revenue. Look, the economy boomed under the Trump's first term when he came up with these tax cuts. Every time tax cuts have been tried, be it by JFK or Ronald Reagan, the trickle down, even though the liberals always say trickle down don't work. No, it did happen every time the economy boomed. The economy boomed under JFK. The economy boomed under Ronald Reagan. And the economy boomed under Trump's first administration. Now, that you take that boom away, it's going to cost more money. But making it permanent actually would probably make the economy boom even better. All the investments in oil and things like that were meant to cause the economy to boom again. So that was not accounted for. And there's several other things. The Congressional Budget Office didn't account for the money we're bringing in through tariffs. So there was money coming in. A lot of stuff wasn't accounted for. So this idea that we was going to lose so much money, it may be in the first year, but in the years out, it was going to pay back handsomely. Now, if it all gets rolled back in the midterms, we may never see much of it. So I think Musk is putting the whole country at risk. He is being short-sighted. He didn't understand how the sausage is made in D.C., and yet he thinks he can run a political party just based on his little hissy fit that he's having. There's a lot of things I admire about Musk, but I think he don't have any political acumen. I think he has zero political acumen. So I think that's where he's putting the country at risk. So maybe Steve Bannon was right. But anyway, so what Musk's plan for his party was, and y'all may have heard this already, he says, one way to execute this would be to laser focus on just 2 or 3 Senate seats and 8 to 10 House districts, saying he's going to win them. I don't think he's going to win them. But even if he did, he's going to cause so many Republican seats that he's not going to have a margin anyway. The Democrats will rule again. This is the risk that we're facing, guys. So if you think that well, let me just go on there. We'll just talk about some more stuff here on this party here. So Trump said that Musk is going completely off the rails. He says, I'm sad to watch Elon Musk go completely off rails, essentially becoming a train wreck over the past 5 weeks. He even wants to start a third political party, despite the fact that they have never succeeded in the United States, the third parties. Musk, in retaliation for Trump's big, beautiful bill, I won't read all this article. That'll get me the copyright. I can quote. Yeah, I can quote though. Trump said, I think it's ridiculous to start a third party. That's what he said. He said, we have tremendous success with the Republican Party, and the Democrats have lost their way, but it's always been a two-party system. I think starting a third party just adds confusion. You remember Ross Perot? What did he accomplish? He gave Bill Clinton the presidency. That's what he accomplished. H. Ross Perot gave Bill Clinton the presidency. Yeah. So we may see that again. But who's backing? Who's falling in line with dear Elon? How about Sam Altman? The guy that started ChatGPT? Sam Altman. And who else? How about Mark Cuban? How about Pence? Oh, yeah. Remember Pence? So, anyway, 24 hours ago, people thought they were joining a political party that was fresh and hip and represented something different. And now they find out it's being run by political retreads like Mike Pence and Mark Cuban. I kid you not, guys. Is this what you want to see? Anyway. Yeah, I'm getting all these solar ads popping up because I'll get into that later. Anyway, well, what they forgot is they got to also file the Federal Exchange Commission, and just a lot of filings doing throughout all the states. So it's really difficult to go through all the paperwork, and the two parties have got it rigged against you. I'm not saying our parties are perfect; neither one of them are. Yeah, they're probably two wings, the same stinking vulture. But in any event, I think this is not good timing, given that we got a chance maybe to roll back some of the deep state and some of the immigration. It's not good timing for this party. That's my humble opinion. So let's look at some other stuff on here. And this is a guy with one of the correspondents on CNN of all places who's disagreeing with this. CNN. He said the entire thing makes little sense to me. This guy's in time. He said it makes about as much sense as selling sand in the desert. I know something about that. I got a lot of sand here. No, I ain't gonna buy no sand. I got plenty of it. He said, what we're talking about here, he says, what's the size of Elon Musk's base? And he said, well, he calculated it to be about 4%, just 4%. 1, 2, 3, 4. All of the voters, because who are you looking for? He says that somebody's got to view Elon favorably and the GOP unfavorably, but they got to be MAGA or previous supporters of the GOP is reviewing the GOP unfavorably and Elon favorably. I think Elon might be able to make rockets, but right now his rockets are blowing up. His car company's tanking. I think Elon needs to get back to seeing after his business person. So, and here's some interesting notes that people have said. And this first one is kind of first thing that occurred to me. The America Party, a party created and funded by a South African-born billionaire. And then another person says, he's just throwing another tantrum as usual when he doesn't get his way. He helped Trump because he wanted Trump not to terminate those EV incentives. Well, actually, he said he wasn't in favor of the EV incentives. Now, that could be or could not be. I don't know. But he said he didn't need those incentives previously. He said that just helped the competition. So maybe that's just Trump, trying to find an excuse. But in any event, he did sacrifice Tesla to do DOGE and didn't see the DOGE included in here. Maybe that's what motivated. Thanks for saying share, Colorado Jan. So I don't know, guys. You tell me what you think here. But I'm going to stop the share. We're going to chat about it a little bit. I think that's enough sharing on that. Anyway. So if you think the America Party is the right way to go, where are we at on numbers now? But if you think it's the right way to go, put a 7 in the chat room. If you think that it's going to be a train wreck, put an 8 in the chat room. I think that's where we're at in our numbers. Thank you, Colorado Jen. Yeah, please subscribe to my channel here. Bang the bell. Because we need help on this channel. Definitely. I need to move my news content off Green Greg's over here. I need to turn Green Greg's into evergreen content that people always go to instead of these news. Because I got a lot of evergreen content on it. You can't sit for all the news stuff. And so I need to kind of move stuff over. Kind of like Nate at Canadian Prepper did. That's why I created this channel. I did that before he created another channel, but I got so little views over here that I keep going back to Green Greg's, and I'm kind of messing up what I want to do with that channel. It's like if I want to get something out, I go to Green Greg's. So people are saying they think it's going to be a train wreck. Yeah, I think so too. Musk knew something about running a car. Well, he did know something about running a car company. He's running the ground now because he basically went against his base, a customer base on that. But probably everybody wanted to buy an EV had already bought one. To be honest about it, that's why he was beginning to pin his hopes on robotics. Because I think he was reading the tea leaves on that. If you wanted an EV, you'd already bought it. Biden was going to try to force people to buy EVs. And even that went up, even against Musk, I think. So one thing I got to disagree with Trump about, he's saying, well, we're just throwing so much money to Musk and subsidizing the space launches and all that we'll just put it on other companies. Well, who can go to? Boeing? Boeing will charge you 5 to 6 times as much money, take 5 to 6 times longer to develop something, and then it won't even fly. It's not safe. Look at the capsules they developed to go to station. The Dragon, way less money, went way faster, and Boeing's Starliner, whatever they call it, can't even fly the darn thing. Way more money, way more time, and yet for some reason we give Boeing the contract to do the F-47. Hey, Trump, knock, knock, knock. What are you doing going to Boeing for the F-47? Good grief. Boeing's planes are falling out of the air. Have you noticed? Jeez. Wow. Anyway, I don't know, guys. So, yeah, Elon's got the cheapest, far, far cheaper space launches, way cheaper than any other competitor. Now, ULA is trying to use the same engines with their Vulcan rocket that Jeff Bezos is going to be using with his new Glenn to cut some cost. And the new Glenn's coming out, but it's still not going to be as cheap as, or probably have the performance because they just haven't been tested to that level that Elon's developed with the Falcon rocket. Now, with his big rocket, the Starship, that thing's blowing up left and right. It may be unachievable. It may be a bridge too far. I do think he's putting the communities there in Southeast Texas at risk with that rocket. It should be launched offshore. I mean, anyway, that's another story. But I would say I disagree with Trump on the idea that he's going to go to some other company and get it cheaper for space launches. But hey, it might mean, though, that we're going to the moon instead of Mars, at least with the government side of the program. And the moon is where the government needs to be focused, because that's where we got to worry about China. That's where there's actual economic opportunities. There's no economic case for going to Mars. Mars is, well, not have all our eggs in one basket, but that can also be done with rotating space facilities, kind of the Bezos adopting the visions of Gerard K. O'Neill. And that's the direction I'm more favor, because that's more Earth-like environments that you could create artificially inside of spinning habitats instead of, Antarctica is more friendly than Mars. Mars is a tough place. Yes, and you got a long way to go to get there. So I don't know about this Mars thing. But hey, if Elon wants to pay for it out of his own pocket using money from subscribers like me to Starlink, fine. But trying to take the government away from the moon, where China could take over and put a mass driver and totally dominate Earth, take over everything, that's a risk we don't need to face. Our biggest risk in the United States today, in the world today, across the world, is China. China, and I need to cover this on Green Graves because this is more the war stuff. It's still popular over there. China's basically just told the NATO that they can't afford for Russia to lose the war in Ukraine. Yeah, they told NATO, yeah, European countries want to do business with China. But see what China's telling Europe is it needs Russia to win. Why? To distract us, so we can spend more of our money and more of our ammo, more of our bombs, and use our ammunition up over there. And maybe they like the idea of us getting involved in Iran because we're using our stuff up there too, instead of expelling it on China when they decide to make their move on Taiwan. Now, some people saying Xi Jinping's on his way out. He may be, but that doesn't mean China's going to change course. You got to remember, this course China charted started before Xi Jinping. He just kind of enunciated it more forcefully, but it was already the path that China was on. So 8.0 on Richter scale. Ooh, where's that at, Cowboy Roy? Yeah. 8.0. Are you serious? You talking about an earthquake? Or are you talking, or are you just figuratively speaking? Yeah. We have to pull up USGS. Hi, Roy, talk to me. What's going on? 8.0 on the Richter scale. Whoa. Just pull up USGS, but I scroll in wrong. See something in New Zealand looking big. 6.3. Crete 5.0. What are you talking about, Roy? How many cars worth of emission is each rocket? Well, the rocket's emission is water, basically. It's, I don't worry about that. If we can tap energy from space, the environmental impact on Earth will be very positive for those that worry about such things. There's a lot more energy in space than there is down here on Earth. You just got to have the infrastructure to tap into it. So I firmly believe that there's a lot of advantages to developing space, immense advantages. Space is rich in resources. You just have to invest to have the infrastructure to go after them. That's a big investment. It's kind of like a chemical system. Sometimes you get a chemical reaction, but you have to have an energy of activation to get to that chemical reaction. It releases a lot of energy. So you have to invest a lot of energy heating the system up or something to get it to that point where the chemical reaction will take place. It's called the energy of activation. And building all the infrastructure in space is kind of like an energy of activation. It will have a huge payoff in return. There's vast resources in space, very vast, far vaster here. Minerals, energy, it's all up there. There's ways to get it back. But there's a lot that can be done for that. All right, so let me look at the chat room. And let's see, is Michelle in the house? All the way out in the house today. Wonder if we have I'll do something real quick. I am going to look over at PayPal. just to see if Michelle or Kim Possible's in the house, because if they are, they like to donate over pay. I like to give credits to you if anybody makes a donation to me. I don't see any activity on PayPal, so I guess they're not in the house tonight. Anyway, either that or their pockets are hurting, which is okay too. All right, so let's go through the chat room. So for the guys watching in the morning, the main news part's over. I'm just going to go through and look at the chat for a little bit, and then we're going to end the video. It's late. I got to get up, bro. It's 2 o'clock in the morning here where I'm at, and I got to get up early for work. I got to go outside and shut off a generator. Yeah, what I was about to say a minute ago is that I'm having a failure in one of my inverters. It's blowing fuses, and it just continues to blow them. And I got another one just like it, parallel on the same voltage and everything, and it's not having any problems. But here, I mean, it's really burning them up. And so we went in and tried to replace those fuses, and we blew all these fuses. You can see them all. There's a whole handful of them here. I'm going to show them with the camera. Bunch of fuses here. So I got one inverter that's just totally foobarred. She's just blowing fuses left and right. And she ran fine for 20 hours. 20 hours, had no problem. Then poof, she went down. So half my house runs off one inverter and half of it runs off the other. The wall circuits are what runs off the inverter that is failed, which includes my Starlink, my laptops, the refrigerator, my fan I got running. So right now I'm actually running on a generator, and I'm back to generators and all the gas for that. So supposedly this unit's got a 2-year warranty. I've emailed the manufacturer a couple of days ago, and I saw crickets right now. So I'm going to email them again, the fuse story. Anyway, yeah, it all ran just fine for 20 hours. This one inverter just started and never got loaded down. It's supposed to be a 6 kW inverter, and never loaded it over 1 kW. And that was only for a few minutes. I'll brew a pot of coffee. For most time, it's been running under 1 kW. It's supposed to be a 6 kW inverter, but she's having some issues. I think a transformer internal to it burned out, and it's just not going to work. So anyway, let me look at the chat room real fast. How many people we got in the house here? 27's all? Well, that's why it's hard when I got real big news to come in here on this channel, because I'm just not getting the views over here. It's pretty bad, but this is where I want to move all my news to. I've said this a million times over on Greengrass, but I still don't have people come over and subscribe. So I need you guys to help me out. Subscribe and share these videos. Patton was right. Yeah, Patton was right. Too bad we couldn't have Patton for president. And some people actually think that Trump's a reincarnation of Patton. I don't know. They have a lot of similar personality traits. Anyway, I don't know. Trump does a lot of things on the sly. Yeah, look, trust no man. Trust no man. Now, between him and Harris, yeah, I prefer Trump any day. I mean, but I don't know about all this Epstein stuff. I don't know what's going on. I really don't. I kind of hope that in this case, maybe, possibly, Alex Jones is right. But I don't know, guys. This is heinous. Years of footage and independent research. Yeah, that's what I think, Sasquatch Moon. Yeah, I think they're being somewhat less than absolutely truthful. That's what I think. Like I said, were they lying then or are they lying now? Cowboy Roy, sometimes it's necessary to provide a certain narrative in order to cast a larger net to catch bigger fish. Well, let's hope maybe that's the answer. Let's hope maybe they're trying to get people, maybe they're playing a Sun Tzu tactic here. Get people to relax. It's okay. It's over. We're not, yeah, they said they're not going to investigate this anymore. It's over with it. Closing the books. So maybe that's how they get people to pop up and grab them. I don't know. Could be 4D chess. I hope it's something like that. Train wreck on both venues. So Cowboy Royal, what was the Richter scale 8 was, you're referring to Musk failure. Okay, got it. Maybe Elon's generator company. Greetings from Argentina. Prep and pray. We got Argentina in the house. Yay. How about your president, Malay, in Argentina? What do you think about him? I think he may be putting your country on the right track there. He's the fix of the paperclip. Lottie, lottie. Maybe one time that was the solution for our rockets. Operation Paperclip. Yikes, guys. Okay, so I've kind of glanced through the chat. We don't have a lot of people in the house tonight. Prep and pray. Exactly what our friend Pablo down in Argentina said. Prep and pray. Can I pet that dog? Yeah, okay. Hydrogen, yes. Electric, no. Yeah, hydrogen cars could be interesting. Although hydrogen is you need to take a large tank to put hydrogen in. So that's the problem with hydrogen. It's getting enough fuel in small enough tanks that you can actually go some distance on. That's a bit of a problem with hydrogen. I was involved in trying to start a company up to do green hydrogen from a special new windmill design that a friend of mine came up with that's far more efficient than these giant windmills you see out here. The idea was to electrolyze hydrogen with like a 36 phase generator with this special new windmill design. But I don't know. I think we got the game too late. The money we thought was coming through took too long, and other players entered the game, and it just don't. It'd be harder to make that operation work today. So, in the event, deep underground military bases under the U.S. and other areas, just not everywhere that people claim. Exactly on fracture zones. Well, you'd hope for those bases it wouldn't be, but what's in those bases? Do you have a ticket to one if things go bad? I don't. Please do not believe every earthquake is some stupid, dumb explosion just because people don't do any research. Yeah. Well, that's what some people always say. Oh, they're just building those bases. Yeah, there's plenty of natural explanations for things that we try to attribute to other causes. All right, my friends. That's pretty much all I had to cover tonight. How long have we been online here? That was pretty much the gist of what I wanted to talk about. I just wanted to bring to you guys the gravity of this. And the real gravity is that this is an intel on, which it seems to be. It seems that this whole thing with Epstein is an intel op, and apparently it's still running. And maybe that's why they don't want to blow it. Maybe Israel has held this over the United States. Is this why we bombed Iran? I don't know. Does Israel have something on the United States that leverage more than any other country? Is the tail wagging the dog? Do support electric chairs. Zzz, zzz, yeah, I hear that. Amen to that one. Electric chairs and alligator Alcatraz. Yeah, there's so much to talk about. I could be talking about the big, beautiful bill. I thought about covering that tonight, but I may save that because I think we kind of touched on it already. Hey, we got Chewy Weather in the house. How you doing, Chewy? Good to see you. All right, we're about to call it a day. You can catch us on the rewind, and I'm gonna go outside and shut down my generator and try to catch a couple hours of winks before I get up and get at it again. So yeah, I meet with Europeans a lot, so I have to start early in the morning, real early. Anyway, I want to thank you mods for keeping the room clean. I want to thank all you people for watching. To help, this channel needs help because I want to gravitate stuff from Green Greg's over here to the news content and put Green Greg's more on homestead and stuff like that, which I'll should have a lot of content for here soon. Hey, Doug, how you doing? Why not electroless, or why not have two sets of batteries and two wheels charging one while using the other to drive. Oh, well, you get your energy back when you brake. New York Greg was talking about a Russian EMP space device. Dude, I've talked about that a long time ago. He's just discovering it. Wow. The so-called anti-satellite weapon that Russia's talked about for 2 years, and we've been talking about thinking they had an anti-satellite weapon that's nuclear. And nobody mentioned that as an EMP device. If you got a nuclear device in space, you got an EMP device. I said that 2 years ago. And I go, why ain't they talking about it? So now suddenly New York Greg figured it out. Okay, good. Congratulations. I'm glad somebody else has picked up on it. And somebody named Greg, that's even better. But I've been talking about that for a long time. And none of the news would mention the two together. Why? Because they don't want you to know how vulnerable you are with your power grid. Guys, that's why you need to be growing your own food. Check my links out to Eden Brothers and the True Leaf Market. I'm growing a garden out here in the desert. It's really hard to do. So I'm gonna do some videos on it, but I got some stuff sprouting now finally. But it's a challenge right here in the desert. So I'm gonna be experimenting with this, and I'm gonna try some new things next year when I got more time. More like how the Indians grew their garden. That's what I'm gonna try to work on next year. So anyway, my friends, once again, please leave comments below after the video's out on the, just the comment section. Chat with each other. And, just so maybe people, I'll know that people watch to the end of the video. For those that watch it later, so Greg, that's an interesting pin you got there. Something like that, that tells me that you watched it. So anyway, and then make other people, they didn't watch it further. What's he talking about? So we need watch time. We need shares. Share my video on social media, whatever. Send your friends, but chat below, give thumbs up. All this activity helps reinforce the video to get more views, because I'm not getting hardly any views over here. And I need more subscribers over here. So that's what we need in order to make this channel successful and make it the news channel. That's why I named it Swivel Head News, because you got to keep your eyes wide open, the head on a swivel to everything coming at us today. Hey guys, Civil War is one of the things I need to be talking about. I'm not sure which channel I want to mention on first, but we've got some real big challenges coming up, guys. That's all I could say. Look, we're on the verge of electing a communist mayor in New York City. Gavin Newsom's going off the rails. Whew. And there's already some analysts predicting that California will succeed from the Union, but they're predicting it will lead to a war. I'm saying, let them go. Anyway, so once again, thank you all for watching. Thank you, mods, for doing what you do. To one and all, a good night, good day, wherever you are. And with that, I'm going to say, ho, ho, ho. Rig out.